There's a disease out there that's bad, that only the common cold is, well, more common than. This disease rots the hardest thing in your body. It causes severe pain and infections, and it makes grown men cry. It's likely right now, as you're watching, that you have this disease in some form or another. As early on, you don't know you have it, and it's not until you get pain or you notice something unusual that you're going to be aware that you have it. I bet you want to know what it is. Well, it's dental cavities. Now you might be breathing a sigh of relief that I'm not talking about some flesh-eating, zombie-making pandemic. Yet tooth decay is the second most common disease after the common cold worldwide. The sad thing is, though, that it is entirely preventable, and the fact that after all these years of public health promotion and things like fluoride, tooth decay is rampant. This either means the message of brush, floss and don't eat sugar isn't getting out there, or perhaps more like and most likely that alone doesn't work to stop, prevent and reverse tooth decay. I'm going to explain what a cavity is and what causes it, as well as let you know what you can do to make sure you never get another cavity again. A cavity means there's a hole in your tooth, that you have dental decay. The enamel, which is the bone-like structure that covers your tooth, is dissolving. It's breaking down to the extent that you get a hole in it. Now, the incredible thing about teeth is that they're supposed to be indestructible, but obviously they're not. Teeth, unlike the rest of your body, don't have cells that are constantly being replaced, and because of that, they can't repair. This means any damage to your tooth is most likely irreversible. It can't be fixed. The enamel on the outside of your teeth can last for eons. Let's just look at, ancient skulls and fossils, and you can see how indestructible teeth really are. But despite being so strong and hard, there's this one tiny little thing that can destroy teeth, and that's a bacteria called Streptococcus mutans. That's been shown to be the main bacteria that causes those holes in your teeth. Well, how do they do that? Do they have some miniature jackhammer or explosives that break through this rock-like substance? Well, in your mouth, you've got a mixture of good friendly bacteria and bad bacteria. If your mouth is healthy, you'll have a dominance of friendly bacteria and they protect against disease. But as you consume sugar and other carbohydrates that ferment, what happens is the population of bad bacteria, especially the strep mutans, starts to go higher and higher and higher as they breed and grow faster by feasting on the sugar. The balance of bacteria in your oral microbiome hits its tipping point when now the bad bacteria just take over. These bacteria multiply rapidly using the sugar from your diet, and they reproduce and they live off that, and as they eat it, sugar ferments and produces an acid that the bacteria poop out all over your teeth. This acid dissolves and demineralizes your tooth, creating a hole. When you consume refined carbohydrates and sugars, you're feeding that nasty bug microbe and you get plaque forming up. You get bacteria building up on your teeth, which then cause decay because that plaque layer is full of nasties that are pooping out acid and creating acid that eats away at your tooth. So it's because plaque builds up that we've been told we need to brush and floss our teeth. And that's supposed to stop you getting a cavity, isn't it? But if you do this and people still get cavities, then it's not really the solution. Oh no, hang on, that's right. I forgot you need to make sure your toothpaste has fluoride and you drink water with fluoride in it and you're all good and you never have a cavity again. Well, wrong. Here's the problem. We still have an issue with cavities. In fact, 90% of the population has one. Let me say it again. 90% of people have cavities. Like what? How can that be? I mean, come on, surely dentistry is about prevention and all that scrubbing your teeth and pulling a bit of string around and flossing them is supposed to stop decay, right? If you have clean teeth and you go to the dentist regularly, you're not going to get decay. That's what you've been told, but that just isn't true. Because removing plaque and using fluoride, which I'm not a big supporter of, is only part of the equation. And yes, I think you know what I'm going to say, because you've heard it before. We need to stop eating sugar. Without sugar, those acid-pooping, tooth-attacking ninja warrior bacteria can't eat, then they can't poop, and they can't survive. So why are we not constantly being told don't eat sugar when it rots your teeth, causes type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cancers, and so many issues with our health and immune system? Well, I'm going to say 2 words. I'm going to say them: big sugar. The sugar industry has too much say. It holds too much power, and it doesn't want you to stop eating their product. They want to keep you addicted. Why do you think there were all those manipulated studies saying that fat was bad for you and was the cause of heart disease, when clearly it wasn't, and it's due to sugar? That sugar makes people obese. We get fat from eating sugar, not from eating fats. That sugar rots your teeth, not a deficiency in fluoride, because there's no such freaking thing. We do not need fluoride to prevent tooth decay. The problem is, it's because big sugar bought and paid for the science that they wanted so that they could grow and make immense profits at the expense of your and our health. Documents show that the sugar industry paid off key researchers like at Harvard University like 50 years ago to downplay the relationship between sugar and heart disease and sugar and dental cavities. And they put the blame fully on the shoulders of dietary fat. In fact, this study that was groundbreaking back then did not reveal the source of its funding. And we were still left with the idea that we just need to keep brushing and taking fluoride to prevent dental decay and cavities, when it's just clearly not working. In fact, fluoride can be potentially detrimental to your health and your teeth. Fluoride's been linked to lower IQ in children. I mean, I grew up in a fluoridated area. I could have been frickin' Einstein perhaps if I hadn't drunk fluoride. Anyway, not about me, is it? It's about what you guys need to learn. It's been linked to lower IQ in children. It's also been linked to thyroid issues, just to mention a few things. I've covered that more for you in other videos, so I'm going to link to that for you. Too much fluoride can cause a condition called fluorosis, and this damages the way the adult teeth form, causing them to look patchy and have weaker enamel. Yes, you heard me correctly. I did say fluoride causes weaker enamel. Oh, and there you go. You thought fluoride made your enamel stronger. In fluorosis, part of the tooth turns excessively white, and a dentist will tell you they either don't know what causes it or that it's from fluoride and it's okay because it's a good thing. That means you've got a nice strong tooth. Again, this is incorrect. The truth is that when you expose a young child to too much fluoride, it can weaken the teeth and it can affect calcium metabolism in your body and give this appearance that you can see on the photo right here. And it's not just a weak spot. This is a sign of fluoride toxicity, and it means the whole tooth itself is weak. Fluorosis is very common in fluoridated areas or in people who were given too much fluoride as drops or tablets as their teeth were growing and developing as a child. Fluorosis makes you more prone and at risk of tooth decay, not the other way round. Fluoride also impacts calcium metabolism, and it can be seen in the teeth. Then you have to consider and you have to wonder, what is it doing elsewhere in your body, in areas that have calcium, like your bones, and where it's pushing calcium where it shouldn't be, like into your arteries and your pineal gland in your brain. It's actually interesting to me how much corruption that's still going on with so-called evidence-based science. This sacred holy cow that we can't criticize, we can't debate, and we can't challenge anymore. And even worse, if you do, so many people are being censored. And yet, what about the massive corruption that's going on? There are so many scientific concepts that end up shown after several years after publication that they were false or made up, and they were paid for. In most cases, the research was bought and paid for by the people who wanted the results that the studies claimed that they got. Anyway, let me make this really simple. You can't get tooth decay if you don't eat sugar. So unfortunately, you have to cut out the sugar to cut out the cavities. Now, you're probably yelling at me right now and throwing things at your computer, or you've tossed your phone across the room because it might not be what you want to hear. But I'm sorry, it's the truth. And your whole body, it will thank you for it. Sugar is the leading lifestyle cause for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, strokes, dementia, and cancers, and obviously all dental cavities. Now, if you find giving up sugar completely too hard, then you can use xylitol mints after meals, and you can make sure you're getting adequate vitamin D3 and K2, and that will help get calcium into your teeth and reduce your risk for tooth decay, as well as brushing your teeth with a toothpaste that contains hydroxyapatite, which is the actual building blocks of your tooth structure. Now, I do believe it's possible to cure tooth decay and reverse it if it's caught at the optimum time. So make sure you watch this video here to discover how to eat to prevent and heal tooth decay.